Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Green Tent Circle, where everyone is invited to come in, sit down, relax, feel loved, feel the love from everyone who is with us and who is with us energetically. The Green Tent Circle started a little over a year ago, started in Italy, and it's been in the United States and Canada and in Greenland, thanks to Gail, and is very much active in Brazil. And we'll talk about that later. So welcome, and I am so pleased to announce our Illuminator and Leah Myers, who, without her, you would not know about us. We would not be illuminated. She is the visionary. She is the love technician. She's the one that set up our website so that it is friendly for us to use, and our Facebook and page and also our Facebook group. So if you haven't joined us on there, please do, because we can quickly update information there. But we also, thanks to Leah, have lots of updated information. And I'm not going to talk anything about what she is up to because she can say it so much better than I am. And I don't even know half the things she's up to, because when you work with a visionary who's totally creative, it's just like it constantly is going to change and expand and grow. So I'm not going to say actually another word, except for we all love Leah, because she does this work with totally out of love and no ego. I keep trying to find an ego, but there's not one there. and as a young mom, she brings that wonderful young mom energy for the whole world. So, Leah, we love you, and take it away.
Hello, everyone. It's wonderful to be here. I have a lot to share today, and just really feeling the energy of the springtime and the spring blossoming that's happening through all of us. It's a wild energy right now, but it's so exciting. So I'm looking forward to sharing everything that's blooming through the Green Tent. I have a PowerPoint presentation to walk us through so that I can wrap all of our heads and hearts around everything that's unfolding. All right, I'm so excited about this too, as an option we have now to communicate. The technology now is so fun and easy to play with. So this is just another way we can play with storytelling. So I am, like I said, so excited to be here because we're very much getting ready to kick off the spring, and there's so much blooming right now. The Green Tent Circle really is like a maternity ward, and we have all these birthing mothers from across the globe showing up with the most beautiful, amazing passion projects. And we are deeply listening and using technology and what's available to us now to create support systems for all of the beautiful passion projects and things moving through us to come into the earth now. And I just want to take a minute to express my gratitude to have this space, and for each and every one of you who have helped to create this sacred container, because I'm very aware that as I step in, as many women will be stepping into this container, we're healing 7 generations behind us of voiceless women. We're healing our own voice in the present moment by stepping in with the support of our sisters and really feeling that support around us. And we are seeding the future for the next 7 generations of voiceful women. This is a very sacred space to me, even though it's on Zoom and there's lots of technology involved. This is sacred healing right now, right here, right now happening. And it's such a joy as each woman steps in and uses her voice. I feel that every Saturday when we come together, that healing happening through each of us. So here we are blooming and kicking off the spring. So I just wanted to share a little bit about my background and who I am and why I'm here. When I was 8 years old, my friend was killed in a tragic bus accident in front of me, an arm's length in front of me. And it really shaped who I am right now. For the most part, it made me very afraid. It made me very afraid of life. And I was probably never present after that. I think I probably had PTSD. And I was always planning 10 steps ahead of myself, trying to stay safe in the world. And it made me really become very serious about life and very compulsively driven to find safety and security and some sort of stability. So I worked really hard to build things that I thought were going to keep me safe. A lot of external focus and materialism. And I ended up at 30 years old, probably with everything that I thought was going to bring me safety and happiness. And I was totally empty inside. And I had no idea who I was. And it was really eye-opening to have so much and believe that these things were the answer, and then to discover that was not it at all. So after that realization, everything that I had built started to crumble, started to fall apart. So first I went through a divorce. My marriage fell apart and everything kept falling apart. So I had to move out of my house and into a smaller home. And I had to leave a job where I was working at an advertising agency and work for a smaller company. And every time I would lose something, I felt like I was dying. But really, I wasn't dying. I was becoming more of myself as I was losing these things. But at the time, I didn't know that. I just felt the pain of losing all these things and feeling more and more insecure. But I was waking up. And so I ended up having more time and more space for myself and started to do internal work and discover things that I had forgot about myself. And I got to the point where I knew that I couldn't go back to the life that I had before, but I didn't know what the road ahead looked like. And I was in a state of desperation. And that's where I found Patricia Farrow's book, What Happens When Women Wake Up. And this was a collection of stories of women who were going through experiences like me, where they're losing the external things, but finding the internal things that they had lost and finding themselves again and doing these amazing passion projects. So it really shifted my whole energy out of fear and action to love and action, because I started thinking what I could do and getting excited about life again. And so after reading this book, I wrote a letter to Patricia. First time I've ever written a letter to an author, but she made such a huge impact on me and shifted my energy, just shifted me out of that early trauma so quickly that I had to let her know how grateful I was. So I poured my heart out in this letter and told her about all these visions and plans I had. And I sent her my contact information and she called me and we connected, and she invited me to her Christmas party. And at her Christmas party were all these women who were doing these amazing passion projects and amazing work in the world. It just lit a fire in me to open this new chapter of living. I ended up getting laid off from my job, and I ended up moving back to my parents' house. My father and I planted a huge garden, and every morning I would go and I would meditate in the garden, even though everybody was coming at me saying, you have to do this, or you need to do this, and this, and this, and this. I knew that I couldn't go back to that old way of living. I needed something different. So I would just go in the garden and meditate and do nothing and have no plan, just total emptiness. And I started to hear my voice again. I started to hear this voice that said, go get your camera. And so I went and got my camera and I started taking macro shots of nature. And as I was taking those shots, it was healing me. It was like sacred meditations that were helping me to focus on the abundance that's all around us all the time. And I was seeing the magic and I was feeling the magic. And in the morning, I would watch the zucchini plants, and they have great big leaves, and they would face the sun and capture the sun rays in the morning. And then at night, they would go to sleep. And in the morning, they would catch the rays. And I was noticing all this magic that when I was in my fear mode, in my achievement mode, I was just plowing past all of this stuff and not even connected at all. But just really awakening to the quantum field of abundance that's all around us, and that we really are rich. We're not lacking at all. We're surrounded by magic and creativity and nature's fertility and abundance. So one day when I was meditating in the garden, I got a phone call, and it was Pat. And she said, I was meditating and your name came through, and I have no idea why I'm calling you. I just got the message to call. And through our conversation, we discovered that she had been channeling writing from her sister, who she calls Neen or Nini. And we discovered that her channeled writing matched up perfectly with these nature shots that I had been taking all summer long. So we got together and just had a party matching up the images of nature to these beautiful words that she was channeling from her sister. And it was such a joyful experience. And it was the first time in my life that I ever experienced creating with the universe instead of on top of the universe. There was no agenda. It wasn't for money. It was just open-hearted play and allowing the universe to come through and then moving with universal energy. So this was the first time I ever experienced it. There's the picture of the seeds for my sister. Created a deck of 52 motivational cards called Seeds from My Sisters, with quotes from Pat's sister and my macro shots of nature that I had been taking. And we made these little packages up, and we started giving these to all of our friends and sisters who were waking up and finding their own voice to help encourage them and give them what they needed. And we would just pass them out, just out of total love and support in this energy. It really felt like we were passing them this quantum field energy and inviting them into this space. And it's so fun because we still hear stories from people about how they put cards on their bathroom mirror, or they had cards in their car on their visor, and what those cards meant to them at certain moments. So it's just beautiful. And I realized that this is the way I wanted to live moving forward. I didn't want to go back to creating on top of the universe. I only wanted to create with the universe through openness and through space and through allowing. And so I began doing intense internal work to kind of dismantle all of the old stuff and to totally come into this new space. So these were 3 of the main things that I'd like to share that I think helped me shift from fear to love, because we can get it conceptually, but then we have to embody it. And it takes a while to shift into a new way of being in the world. The first thing I learned was surrender, but surrender never felt right because what I was doing was not passive, it was dynamic. So I changed that word to surrender, because it's letting go. It's letting go of your mind, letting go of your agenda, because you're sure that there's a higher intelligence that's working, and you're creating the space for that to come through to render with it. So the word I use now is surrender. It's just learning how to show up empty, how to carry that space with you everywhere so the universe can flow with you, and then you become a creative partner with the universe. And the next thing I had to learn was ancestral healing, because I was being called to go to places and then I would hit a wall of resistance and I couldn't figure out what that wall was. So for example, I kept getting called to do painting, but every time I would sit down to paint, I would hit a wall of resistance. I couldn't do it. I had to go do something else. I would go do the dishes or go do laundry, but I could not just sit and paint. I kept hitting resistance. I called in several healers to help me with that. So I worked with Sarah Flo, who's a meditation coach, to create some space around what I was feeling. And then I worked with Erin Beatty, who's a massage therapist. She does somatic massage healing, and that helped bring some memories into my consciousness. And then I started working with Eden Wolf, who studied in Ibiza, Spain. She studied sacred womb healing. And we would do guided meditations where she would send streams of light down through our ancestral lines. And we first started working with the mother wound and sending light through the mother line. And then we started working with the father line. And I told her that I was, noticing a lot coming up with the father line. So she put together a special meditation for me just to work with my father line. And in that guided meditation, I saw this vision of soldiers. I saw a vision of soldiers, battlefield soldiers in uniform, standing one right behind another. Felt like they were holding guard. And so I did some research into my family tree, and I discovered that I have military history on my male line from the Vietnam War going back to the Revolutionary War, line after line of battlefield soldiers. And I began to realize that their cellular DNA was still in me. And to be a battlefield soldier, you have to be disconnected to your emotional and your physical body to survive. You can't feel emotion. If your friend gets hurt, you can't stop. You have to keep going. If you can't feel anything physically, if you have any physical pain, that can mean death. So I realized that I had to do healing in that space and heal that disconnection. So I sat down and actually had a conversation with my male ancestors. And I told them, I understand why you had to disconnect. That's how you survived. And that's why I'm alive today. But we have to evolve. We cannot continue to disconnect from our emotional and physical body. We have to connect because humanity is not going to survive if we don't learn how to connect. So when I was sitting in my painting space, everything has to connect. You have to feel everything emotionally, and you have to feel everything energetically and feel everything physically to paint. So that was the wall of resistance that I was running into. And it really took me having that conversation with the ancestors and my cells and saying, we're in a new time now. The warrior of today is a heartful warrior that feels everything, and we have to feel. This is the new evolution of the warrior. It's a heart warrior. It's a warrior of the heart. And that changes everything. It changes everything. I think that was the decolonization of my heart, reclaiming my heart space and shifting out of surviving into thriving. Now we get to really thrive as humanity. We don't have to disconnect anymore. We get to feel. And I had a good cry with those male ancestors because it's painful. It's painful to be in disconnection. And it was very healing to cry that out. And then the last piece is superseding. I think this is really important for shifting into this new age of connection that we're moving into. It's dismantling all the old patterns, but then we're superseding all of the new patterns. And I love this word superseding because we're writing over the past, but we're also powerfully seeding for the future. It's like you get it conceptually, but then you have to embody these things. So I'm working on shifting competition to collaboration, shifting control to letting go, shifting invulnerability and defensiveness into open-hearted vulnerability. Superseding each of these things is a project in and of itself. We can't just flip a light switch. This stuff is a process. We're all learning and doing it together. Going through that healing process really opened up my creativity in a huge way because now things were connecting and things were flowing more. So this painting on the top left, I brought this in with Pat and Lauren Tatarski, who are putting together a women's retreat. And we were just sitting with the energy of what was flowing through us. We would meet every week and we would start bringing this painting through. There's 35 symbols of the divine feminine that came through this painting. This is another whole story, but I think you can feel the energy of women from diverse backgrounds all coming together and working as one to heal, to face the shadows and work through and heal and supersede for a new future. And they each come carrying their special gift. So it opened up creativity. And then I started, because I I have a background in graphic design and publishing and art. I began working in this new way with social entrepreneurs and groups of people who are bringing through New Earth ideas and New Earth organizations, and learning how to really create a space for a universe to come through to connect to the energy that was there and then move it into symbols to help anchor and ground the energy. The first one, the Intentional Living Collective, this is a nonprofit, and the mission is to create deeper connection. The Intentional Living Collective offers programs that build deeper connection in the community. EOS, the next one, is a community connections portal. The Intentional Living Collective created EOS as a tool for our community because we have all these incredible organizations in our community, but social media is so exploitive that they're not getting their needs met. So we really wanted to offer to our community ways to deepen in connection that weren't exploitive, but would help them build community. So EOS is going to be at the Parliament of the World's Religions to share there. And we're super excited about that. It's soft launched right now, and it's in phase 1. The Rising Phoenix Awards is a program that the Intentional Living Collective created to celebrate change agents in the community. We really wanted to have a way to recognize people who were working hard to make the world a better place. We wanted to have a way to celebrate them and to their work in coming through. So we have the Rising Phoenix Awards, which is actually happening tonight. And Laura Saw, one of our Green Tent Circle members, is going to be receiving an award tonight for all of her hard work that she does with peace building around the world. So it's just wonderful to be able to recognize and celebrate how beautiful humanity is and how beautiful the human spirit is and how it can rise above. And then we have Conscious Rites, which offers custom ceremonies to highlight milestones in people's lives. Evenstar's Chalice is a metaphysical shop that does a lot of work in our community to help people in their relationship with spirit. Sophia Unfolds is a women's organization that helps to support the rising of the divine feminine in our local community. And then Creative Emergence Center is a program that I'm creating for the Intentional Living Collective to nourish the creative heart and soul of our community. So I was working on all these different projects when I got another call from Pat, and she tells me about the Green Tent Circle that's blossoming and invites me to join. And I'm thinking, how in the world am I going to hold all of this? But I knew to just, through surrender, just to show up, just to say yes, because it's always magical. And we're not in control anyways, the universe is, right? So we just show up with an open heart and let it flow. And then that was the birth of the Green Tent Circle, November 6th, 2021. And this is our beautiful logo that Linda Robinson, very talented graphic artist, created for us, and our birth announcement. And then we had our very first workshop at the United Nations Women's Forum, March 19th. In the Green Tent Circle, through Angela Weber, was able to learn about the very first green tent that started in Verona, Italy. And this is an amazing story, and I'm so excited to have time with Angela to really capture the story of the first green tent in Verona, Italy, because it's such a beautiful story. And it's a huge part, I believe, in the unfolding of Women's Her Story, a huge moment in Women's Her Story. Where the first green tent was built was a historical space for women to come together to find safety during the burning times. And since then, it has been a safe space. So this is where immigrants were coming in, and they created the first green tent to hold that immigration process so everybody had a sense of belonging and being held. And so this is the origins story of the first green tent. I think when you look at this tent, because it was woven together by so many hands, it has that supportive feeling. So look for this story to be on our website eventually. It's unfolding, and we're working on getting the full story grounded and anchored for Women's Her Story. And then it became very clear through coming together every week, that this was a global women's movement, that women were coming together in a massive way to take better care of each other and to take better care of Mother Earth. And they were finding ways to work together and organize on the behalf of all life on Earth. And so we've had just the most beautiful stories from across the globe, story after story of amazing women doing amazing things in their communities. And this global women's movement is coming together at the dawn of a new age of connection and just incredible evolutions in technology. So it creates, like, those two things coming together create this explosion. And that's why I'm so like fired up and so excited, because never before in history have we had this much open access to mass media outlets. And I'm just going to walk you through some of the things that I'm seeing that are really changing. It's changing everything. It's changing the playing field. So in the publishing realm, you used to have to go through a publisher to get your book written. And once you had a publisher, they got to tell you what to do, what to say, what you could do, where they got to dictate and control a lot of your voice. That no longer exists. Everybody can self-publish. Everybody can write a book, self-publish through Amazon, and build their own audience. So this gives women's voices and women's wisdom such a huge place to come through and be anchored and grounded and supersede for the next 7 generations. So I see a lot of women writing books, and I'm so excited about that, because those are seeds that are getting planted for the future. So our ability or our opportunity to create support systems for women writing is huge, and just I get really excited about that. In web development, used to be you had to hire a web developer. Now with the website builders that are out there, everyone can have a website. And we're choosing to use on our website a very user-friendly platform where it's just drag and drop, so that we can invite a lot of women into that space to create sort of a collective journaling together. The limitations that were there, that used to be there, are not there anymore. You used to have to get a TV deal or a music deal. Now through YouTube, you can create your own music. You can produce your own music. You can produce your own stations, your own channels. And there's the technology is there to support you with the editing and the production. So that field is wide open. So we are in a space of wide open creativity with all the resources we need. The limitations that used to exist, they're simply not there anymore. They don't exist. We can just totally jump in and play and create and have fun. We should be dancing and celebrating because it's just wide open for whatever we can dream together, we can create. And so I'm just super excited and fired up about what we can do. I'm going to walk you through some of the ways that we've been using some of these new opportunities. So we have our Saturday Zoom calls, and this is where women from across the globe can join us on a call on Saturday, and we are talking and weaving together what's happening here and sharing resources and sharing ideas and coming up with plans and just letting it all flow organically through connecting, which women do anyways. It's just a joy. And we just deeply listen to what's happening now, what's important, what do we need to pay attention, what needs support that can happen in our Saturday Zoom calls. We're checking in, we're sharing, we're weaving, we're supporting, we're empowering each other. We're emerging new ideas, and it's just a fantastic energy. And it's so beautiful to know that it's there every Saturday. You can jump in, jump out as needed. It's an anchored support system for women who are blossoming right now. We have our social media channels. Of course, our Facebook group allows us to just communicate what's happening now and how to plug in and share what's happening. And then, there's an opportunity as you're forming your own green tent circles in your local areas to create your own group page and then link them into our global page so that we have all these pods that are working and active, but also staying connected. Our website is a great place to anchor these energies that are coming through and celebrate our community. So we have our community pages, Marilyn Nyborg here and her story, which is beautiful. And everybody can share with us their bio, their information, their links, what they're working on, and how to best support those projects and coming into the world. And then each person gets their own page where they can share whatever they want to there. And we're working on building that out. We also have lots of other pages talking about action, Green Tent Circle action, the projects that are moving into action and sharing those stories. We have lots of support and ways to connect and information about starting a tent. So that is always there and being updated. We have our YouTube channel, which we are just getting going now. Now we have 8 videos on our YouTube channel, and these have all been on our Illuminators for our Illuminator series that we've created. There's also, we're also creating a playlist of music. So if there's anybody who's creating or producing music, we can plug that into our playlist and share those. And I know there's lots of them out there. So we have Dale Allen's song, Women Shine, in our playlist, along with other music that's being developed and created. So if you need inspiration, you know, you can always go onto our channel and grab our playlist and listen to our community singing. And then sister channels. I love this about YouTube. I've gone out and explored and researched all of our sisters who are out there working on their channels and connected them to the Green Tent Circle. And it's so easy now to support sisters. Go on their channels, like their videos, comment on their videos. All of that energy creates these currents of energy streams that just builds this energy and makes it stronger and makes sure that everybody's more supported in what they're working on. And then this is our Illuminator series that has been emerging. This will be our ninth video once we get this one shared and uploaded. Each woman that comes in has an amazing story to share, amazing work to share, and it's just been so wonderful to receive all of that wisdom and learn how to support the work that they're doing. And we will continue to do that. And then this gets me super excited because each of the women here, they don't come alone. They come with their organizations and their work in the world. And you can start to see, look at this. This just makes me like take a deep sigh of relief because you can really feel the fabric of women creating a new earth through these beautiful organizations, the Divine Feminine app, Ungun with Marty Casey, working for gender-based violence with the Musoki Foundation, which Virginia brings, the Cora with Dale Allen, Peace Sundays with Laura Saw and all of her peace building work, the Rede Pintadas from Bahia, Brazil, and their amazing model of community organizing, Peaceworks at Avalon, and all the incredible creativity and connection to nature and healing that's happening there. Grandmother Mary Lyons and her wisdom for water protecting and protecting the earth. Be Blessed, Botanicals, and Melissa's connection to the earth. And it just goes on and on and on. I could probably make about 10 pages like this now, and it keeps growing. So it's just like, if you're not feeling excited or in that celebration move, I really want to invite you to that space, because this is what's happening and what we're doing together. And then this is also super exciting. This is what I was talking about with women writing and publishing being wide open now. We have so many incredible books from community members in our library. And this is on our website too. You can go on our website. We have a community books page from women in our community and the books they've written. with links to those books. So you could go right on there. And this is a great way to support women in their work and their voices and spreading wisdom through the web of life. This would be great to go to for presents, to gift each other. And there's just so many ways that we can support women's voices and these beautiful books that are emerging through so many women right now. And this too, I probably could create 10 or more pages of just books. And I'm excited about that growing. And here we have the Parliament of the World's Religions, which is happening this August with the Women's Village. First time having a Women's Village. And the Green Tent Circle will be in the Women's Village with a pop-up tent and sharing some of what's been happening. And this is August 14th through the 18th. And I really feel like this is another huge piece of women's her story, of women's unfolding. So if you can be a part of it, please come and be a part of her story unfolding, because it's just such beautiful energy to deepen in and be a part of and help ignite fires of the seeds that you're holding. And so this is what's blooming. This is a piece that's in development that I wanted to share with you. It is in the virtual Green Tent Circle news. So I'm kind of seeing this as a way to have a global grassroots women's news network, so that we're sharing stories that are happening local with our relationships and our relationships to the environment. And we know how to plug in and hear these stories and support these stories. So I'm working on that, putting that piece together, and I'm starting with the story from Rebecca Brugman, who is in Maine. She's at the Acadia National Park. And the Acadia National Park is off the coast of Maine, an island off the coast of Maine. And the beautiful thing, I've been talking and connecting with Rebecca's story, and she has a beautiful story to share there. But she, at the time, this is fascinating. At the time that the first Green Tent Circle was being made in Verona, Italy, Rebecca Brugman was building this tent near the Acadia National Park, the exact same time. And her sail house story is beautiful. And so I am working with her to get her story captured and shared. And that will be our very first in the virtual Green Tent Circle news story to kind of kick off that space. And I'm trying to get that done in time for the Parliament of the World's Religions, so her story can be shared in our pop-up tent in the Women's Village. The amazing thing about Acadia National Park is being an island off the East Coast. When colonialism happened, it kind of went over the island, and the island was allowed to stay pure or preserved because it just kind of was so close that it got missed. So it's maintained its authentic voice in ways that other spaces have not been able to. And for Rebecca to make this connection and share her story of Sail House and bring the voice of Acadia Park into the Green Tent pop-up tent in the Parliament of the World's Religions is just blowing my mind. And it's so beautiful. And part of that magical universal flow of energy that's happening. So Rebecca is ready to share her story in a big way, and she's working on developing a model of healing with the earth through the sail house. She's working on putting together workshops and healing through her experience there. So another thing that's blooming, because this is another piece, and because communications within the Green Tent Circle keeps growing, I think our next step is going to be to put together a communications team. So we will be asking for help with that. And I really see a communications team being like a collective journaling and creating a model for collective journaling. so that everybody has a voice and learning how to build a collaborative model together. So look for that in our communications. We're going to be working on building our communications team and coming up with a regular schedule for meeting to keep up with all of this incredible blossoming. The other part that's blooming is pod mapping. This is something that keeps coming up in our conversations. And I didn't have a whole lot of time to work on this slide. I think this is an emergent energy, but I know we're all carrying the seeds for it. And we all know that it's something important that we're working on. But I keep looking at Queen Anne's lace, and I know there's a map there. I know there's a model there, and I feel like that is how women move. We move in pods. Each of us have deeply rooted pods that we move within, and each of those pods are connected to other pods, just like in a Queen Anne's lace head. You see the circle pods and how they're connected, but yet they're all connected to one whole. And then you see like a field of Queen Anne's lace, and this is kind of how I see women's fabric across the globe. Even though it's separate, it's all connected into one field. So it's just, I think where we're going to be going with this is just creating a model for mapping where everybody is in their pod, so that they have a communications channel and feel supported, are getting the support they need to keep doing what they're doing organically. There's not a whole lot we need to do other than just offer support and anchoring and grounding for what's already there. And so these are ways to join in. Make sure you get your bio sent to info@greententcircle.com, and we can get you listed and get your page set up so we can learn about everything you're doing and how to find the links we need to support it. Join us on our Saturday Zoom meetings. We'd love to have you there. And think about maybe joining our communications team if you feel drawn to that. There's tons of work to do. And we're doing our best to keep up with it, but we know that it's going to keep expanding and exploding, and it's going to take all hands on deck. Starting your own green tent and sharing what's happening there, and visiting our website and YouTube channel, making sure you're liking, subscribing, or commenting. It's just a really easy way to support women right now and what they're bringing through. So I think I only have one last slide. This is a love letter to all sacred creators. I think that women are beautiful creators with life, and most of us didn't get a whole lot of encouragement in that space. And so I want to offer this love letter to all sacred creators, my offering to you, because I know we're healing that space. Every act of creation is an act of love, because only the courageous heart can create. To create, you must let go and leave the safe harbor. You must embrace the unknown. The heart has the fearless ability to leap into the void, trusting and knowing that it will be supported in the process. Every little dance, song, poem, painting, story, experience you create is an act of love. Every creation sends ripples out through the ocean, calling lost souls home to the truth of their infinite nature. You are infinite love, and you are infinite creativity. And every time you step into the void, you are exercising your truth and sending the ripples of love outward. Is there anything more important than that? Every little bit created matters. Your creations are always beautiful, always valuable, always enough, because they are acts of love. They are acts of love. And that changes the world. Love changes the world. Never hold back your light. Never hold back an ounce of creativity flowing through you. Let it out. Express it every way you can, because it's lighting up the world. Your light matters. Let your light shine. Let your love shine. Let your heart shine. Release it for the world. It is needed. It is needed. It is powerful. It is valuable beyond understanding. Trust that. Believe that, for the sake of the universe. I love you all, and I love everything that you're creating. I'm blown away every day by the beauty here. And I'm in service to it.
I have no words except for just incredible, deep, deep appreciation for your sharing. Not only your story, but what you're giving to us and the whole world. You have said it all. You have shown it all. And I love that you have done your inner work so we can enjoy your outer work. So if I could stand, I am going to stand, but I want to stand in reverence to this for a standing ovation. You know, the whole universe, I think, is saying thank you. Alyssa, I always love when you do that. Okay, we can all dry our tears. You've opened our hearts, you've opened our mind, you've given us total permission to be creative and join in. And in really wonderful ways of doing that. So thank you, thank you, thank you.